I was working on my computer this morning in the kitchen, and from the place where I work at the kitchen table, I can kind of see reflected in the screen. I can sometimes glimpse what's happening in the garden behind me. And I was just working away there, and I just caught this glimpse in the screen of what looked like a woman with very long hair walking up the garden. And it just caught my attention, and I just glanced at it a second time, and I realised that what it was the we have a beach umbrella in the garden. It's kind of a fake straw beach umbrella that had been lowered, and it was just swaying gently in the breeze, and the pattern of the swaying was very similar to the pattern of movement you get when a person is walking. So what looked like, as I say, what looked like a woman with long hair walking up the garden, but it's actually just the swaying of the beach umbrella. And the reason why I'm thinking about that is not because it was an intriguing mistake, but the fact that my attention was drawn to it enough for me to check what it was. So I was kind of falsified it, if you like, or tested its veracity, the experience. I looked again in the laptop screen and turned around to see what it was, and there it was, this beach umbrella. But most of the time, I'm guessing, I don't check what my experiences are. It was only the novelty of that particular experience, the fact that there's this woman with very long hair walking up my garden, that drew the level of attention that would make me actually check it. I'm guessing most of the time I've been having experiences of something like that, but they just don't register as significant enough for me to check. Whilst I'm walking through these trees by the side of this little river here, all sorts of impressions are probably being produced at the corners of my, at the corner of my eye, if you like, or at the edge of my attention. Probably probably guesses, if you like, speculations about what kind of things they are, in a way that this image of a woman walking up my garden was a kind of speculation. But whereas that image of the woman walking up my garden, the speculation was strange enough for me to actually, as I say, check it. I'm guessing that most of the speculations that are taking place at the corner of my eye right now aren't significant enough for me to check. There's probably all sorts of imaginary things happening around me right now. I suppose the reason why I'm thinking about this is because of a video I made yesterday in relation to poetry and science and reality, picking up on Dawkins' quote about science being the poetry of reality. And what I was saying in that was that a lot of our experience isn't scientific, a lot of our experience isn't empirical, or we don't walk through our lives carrying out empirical processes. So whilst the status of empiricism is unique, I think, in terms of its determining of a kind of shared experience, that's probably a very small part of our experience, and most of my experience right now, I'm not checking on its validity, and I only checked in a really basic way on the experience of the beach umbrella that turned into a woman this morning. So again, as I say, probably 90% of my experiences are not rendered as empirical facts. I don't take the trouble to verify them. I don't construct my movements through the world as a series of falsifiable hypotheses. Although I'm guessing that that's pretty much what's happening. Well, actually, no, that's not quite what's happening. I'm guessing that as I'm walking here, just to stay with the visual example, I'm guessing that all kinds of hypotheses are being generated by my, in this case, visual system, about what I'm surrounded by. And sometimes I guess they'll be correct. The corner of my eye right now, I'm assuming is making a guess that there's a tree over here, and I can check that, and sure enough there is a tree there. Sometimes they're going to be completely incorrect, like the example of the beach umbrella this morning. But for the most part, I have no idea whether they're correct or not because I never check. And it's not within my power to check. No, I'm not particularly interested in checking. So I suppose, yeah, I guess that's just reiterating what I've already said, really, that so much of our experience is non-empirical, and yet still poetic in the sense that, you know, to the extent that Dawkins says science is the poetry of reality, I think there is a kind of poetry going on in terms of this experience as well. You know, the tree that I'm seeing out of the corner of my eye is being kind of assembled poetically, and is being presumably, you know, it has a kind of scansion and a kind of meter which is familiar to me from all of the trees that I've seen, and is being assembled by that kind of metrical process, and is also featuring as a kind of symbol or a kind of metaphor related to all the other trees I've seen.